words of the teacher, son of David, king of Israel. Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher. Utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. What does man gain for all his labor which he toils under the sun? Generations come and generations go, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises, the sun sets, and hurries back to where it rises. The wind blows to the south and turns to the north. Round and round it goes, ever returning on its course. All streams flow into the sea, and the sea is never full. To the place where the streams come from, there they return again. All things are wearisome, more than one can say. The eye never has enough of seeing, nor the ear its fill of hearing. What has been will be again, what has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which one can say, look, this is something new? It was here already, long ago. It was here before our time. There is no remembrance of men of old. And even those who are yet to come will not be remembered by those who follow. I, the teacher, was king over Israel in Jerusalem. I devoted myself to study and to explore by wisdom all that is done under heaven. What a heavy burden God has laid on man. I have seen all the things done under the sun. They are meaningless, a chasing after the wind. What is twisted cannot be straightened. What is lacking cannot be counted. I thought to myself, look, I have grown and increased in wisdom more than anyone who is king over Jerusalem before me. I have experienced much of knowledge and wisdom. And I set myself to the understanding of wisdom, and also of madness and folly. But I learned that this too is a chasing after the wind. For the more wisdom, the more sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief. I said in my heart, come, I will test you with pleasure to find out what is good. But that also proved to be meaningless. Laughter, I said, is foolish. And what does pleasure accomplish? I tried cheering myself with wine. Racing folly. My mind still guiding me with wisdom. I wanted to see what was worthwhile for men to do under heaven during the few days of their lives. I undertook great projects. I built houses for myself and planted vineyards. I made gardens and parks and planted fruit trees in them of all kinds. I made reservoirs to water groves of flourishing trees. I bought slaves, male and female, and had other slaves who were born in my house. I also had more herds and flocks than anyone in Jerusalem before me. I amassed silver and gold for myself, and the treasure of kings and provinces. I acquired male and female singers, and a harem as well, the delights of the heart of man. I became greater by far than anyone in Jerusalem before me. In all this, my wisdom stayed with me. I denied myself nothing my eyes desired. I refused my heart no pleasure. My heart took delight in all my work. And this was the reward of all my labor. And yet, when I surveyed all that my hands had done, and all that I had toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Nothing was gained under the sun. Then my thoughts turned to consider wisdom, and also madness and folly. I saw that wisdom is better than folly, as light is better than darkness. The wise man has eyes in his head, while the fool walks in the darkness. But I came to realize that the same fate overtakes them both. Then I thought to myself, the fate of the fool will overtake me as well. What then do I gain by being wise? I said in my heart, this too is meaningless. For the wise man, like the fool, will not be long remembered. In days to come, both will be forgotten. Like the fool, the wise man too must die. So I hated life, because the work that is done under the sun was grievous to me. All of it is meaningless, chasing after the wind. I hated the things that I had toiled for under the sun, because I must leave them to the one who comes after me. And whether he will be a wise man or a fool, who can say? And yet he will have control over the work into which I have poured all my effort and skill under the sun. This too is meaningless. So my heart began to despair over all my toilsome labor under the sun. For a man may work with skill and wisdom and knowledge, and then he must leave all he owns to someone who has not worked for it. This too is meaningless and a great misfortune. What does a man get from all his toil and anxious striving at which he labors under the sun? All his days, his work is pain and grief. Even at night, he has no rest. This too is meaningless. A man can do no better than to eat and drink and find satisfaction in his work. And I saw that this too is from the hand of God, because without him, who can eat and find satisfaction? The person who pleases him, God gives long life and satisfaction and wisdom. But to the sinner, he points the task of gathering and storing riches to hand over to the man who pleases him. And this too is meaningless, the chasing after the wind.